AITAH for thinking my GF isn't being fully truthful about her past. Me, 20 meters, and my GF, 18F, started dating about a year ago and we got along very well since the start. We went on a few dates and we were sexually intimate on the third date. After we started dating for a few weeks, the conversation of past partners came up and we shared our kissing partners and sexual partners ECT. After a few months I thought I knew everyone she had been intimate with. This was until we were out and someone who I never really considered a friend but had hung out with a couple of times happened to work there and came up to me and pulled me aside for a cigarette while he took his break. We made the usual chit-chat and then he asked me if my GF was pregnant. I was a bit angered by that but I laughed it out and went. There was a rumor going around town that she was pregnant the first month we started dating because a condom broke and I bought her a Plan B pill after. She later told me that she had told someone she barely knew about that whole story, which I was pretty pissed about then, but have forgiven her up to this point. When he told me, my mood was instantly brought down because I couldn't believe this rumor was still going around some 3 months later. When I went back to my GF, she immediately noticed my mood and asked me what's up. When we were in the car, I saw that she was getting upset and somewhat angry. I asked her if she knew who he was, and her response to that was, "Why would I answer questions you already know the answers to?" This to me was weird, and it's even weirder when I think back on it. Eventually I told her what he told me and we moved on. Everything was fine, until I saw that same guy a few months after that. This time he was hanging out with a friend I was on the way to see. I didn't know he'd be there. He apparently had told my friend that his GF had been texting him before they were together. Another good friend of mine came and he told him that he had hung out with his girlfriend once and they almost had sex but he didn't want to. After that he told me very shortly that him and my GF had had a one-night stand. In very few words he painted a very vivid picture that was hard for me to get out of my head. Now this seems obviously like someone who is a pathological liar, and I agree. She had never mentioned him, so I knew he was lying, but thinking back to the way the last time we had an encounter, I thought it was weird. So I told her that he had told me something I didn't like. I asked her to tell me the truth. She gave in and told me a story about she and her friend had smoked weed with him around 2 years ago and she had nearly passed out, and afterwards her friend walked her home. Her friend later told her that he came onto her and she said she may have kissed him, but she doesn't really remember and she didn't even want that. What was weird to me is that she mentioned the exact same very specific place he did. So I knew one of their stories was true. I have since then chosen to believe my GF since I don't really care about her past as long as she's honest with me. I remembered today that when we talked about the first encounter, after the second encounter had happened, she said she thought that he had told me that they had had sex when he pulled me aside for a cig. Remembering this is causing some trust issues for me right now. If she thought that's what he had told me and it wasn't true, why let me think that it was? Why would I answer questions you already know the answers to? I really want to trust her right now, but that whole situation seems a bit weird. Why never mention him in the first place when we had talked about things like that at the start of our relationship? AITAH for not believing my GF is telling the truth.